What are you doing?
I'm just looking at this box and thinking about it.
Oh, okay.
I'm pondering or contemplating what could have been.
We're making another AOS video.
Yeah, we don't want any views.
We're just trying to tank the channel now. Yeah.
Tank the channel.
Everyone who invested their time in
everyone's gonna see a picture of Skaventide and be like, "Really, guys? 4 months of Skaventide?" Yeah, I know. It's finally out though.
The last drop.
Yeah. Let's do something fun and talk about what we would have done differently.
All right.
Yeah. So, unless you've been living under a bridge, you've seen this box, and you've seen it beaten to death in Warhammer community. It's the most comprehensive box of models you probably could argue Games Workshop has ever put together. It probably rivals or is on par with like the Adeptus Titanicus box set that came out. They're probably similar kind of in terms of what they were trying to do. I would argue this is more because it has multiple game modes built in. So obviously you get 2 spearheads in here, plus extra models. So like I think the big machine gun, one of the characters are not in there, and then there's like a couple of the Stormcast units as well that are not in the spearhead. You get the full spearhead experience, the limited edition Fire and Jade book that's only printed in here, as well as a full fold-out mat, which is hard cardboard, which is pretty nice actually. It's double-sided, a few decks to play spearhead, the terrain pieces you need to play spearhead, the full core rulebook, the full General's Handbook in card format, and that's it, I think. No dice. They
finally stopped putting in the dice.
It's everything but dice.
That's
pretty funny. It's kind of funny that's the thing that they exclude. Yeah. So this follows a line of thinking where like every Games Workshop box up until now has kind of just gotten bigger and better, I guess. In the sense of like they're trying to jam more things into the box.
Yeah. For the last more than 10 years, 15 years, it's escalated since the era of the $70 or whatever you want to call it, Skull Pass, Black Reach, whatever. They've started upping upping themselves as how much they can jam in a box at one time. Now the price creeps up with it because they're going to say we put more stuff in the box, and the value is the actual value calculation is better, like in terms of like if you add up the contents of the box
in fake Games Workshop dollars.
Yes.
I always preface that. It is like the value of these sets is a lot of time you're getting like in the 70 to 85% off range in terms of the deal you're getting.
The deal is
based on what you're going to see when things hit the wall. Now, a little bit of history here. The original like starter boxes that they did way back, and I'm talking like the 90s, used to have hardback books. They had 2 plastic armies, and templates and dice, and in a sense, and those were their true starter sets, right? Then, in order to kind of like bring the price down in the late 90s, early 2000s. They were still giving fantastic plastic miniatures, but they took out the hardcover books. They started giving these like little printed small books. Small format. And it was all about getting the models and the rules for as cheap as you could probably put that box out for.
Yeah.
And I still look at that as the golden era.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways for getting people into the hobby, because you could like throw one of those boxes at a kid coming to the store, and their mom would be like, "Okay, it's $80 or whatever."
Yeah,
it's hard to not try this.
It was within a number that was, palatable for someone to take a flyer on.
And it was unlike some of the introductory sets they're putting out today, which are a similar product point. I will give them credit for that. It was a full experience in the box. Like generally speaking, it was a pretty full experience. And then right around 8th edition 40K, I think, and the new AOS game coming out, they went back to the big hardback core book format.
The loaded box. Yeah.
The loaded box. And then with that, we saw the price, really jump up. So, I don't know. What do you think? Like, what would be the first things you'd cut out of the box if you were to make any changes?
Now that we've kind of digested a bit, is and also they've made this easier. It's like a no-brainer now because they did this for a couple of editions for a couple of their games. Is having the core rules a free download, having index cards or whatever they've. If we're talking about strictly 10th ed, 10th ed 40K and 4th ed AOS is all those profiles and points are out now. So it makes you scratch your head and be like, why bother package those books? So you've got a hardback rule book, which again is beautiful. There's new art in there. Yeah, there's new art in here. You know, I think they've evolved the story a little bit. It is very nice. Like no question about it. If you like reading books, you'll love the book. But maybe you could omit this from the main box now. Like this could just be a separate buy if you really want to read all this stuff.
My issue with this book is that they make it not like Games Workshop goes out of their way to make it pointless.
Yeah.
Like it would be one thing if this was the book to buy,
right?
But immediately it's not. Like, and this time around, literally immediately.
Also because this exists or whatever. This has all the rules in it as well.
Yeah. So the General's Handbook is coming out the same day this book's released.
Right.
And it has all of the rules this has, plus the ones you need if you're going to be doing match play.
It is redundant.
And it's cheaper.
Right.
And it's actually spiral bound and it's in a easier to use format. So this is only, to me, this is only for people that love to read the story, that want the artwork, that want to sit down and read a big, thick book now. And I think that by Games Workshop's own hand, pushing the gaming more and more and more with the Warhammer community and stuff like that, I think they've made this product worth less, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the original concept of this and this format, the size and everything, is to be, if it's a starter box or whatever, is they want to give, they presume new people are buying it, so they want to let them. I mean, it is nice. This thing comes in like a, it's like a, I don't know, it's like a nice paper. It's like wrapped very nicely with a beautiful like sticker, and so you have to like tear it open, and it feels very, you know, the smell of it and everything.
The production quality is incredible.
Yeah, sure, so I guess if you're someone new to the Warhammer ecosystem, yeah, I suppose you'll open that and be like, whoa, this is nice.
Oozing with quality, for sure.
And then you'll want to read it and really, like, see what's going on, and it captivates you. And I think there's a reason why we hold on to some of our rule books over the years, because they have that, you know, I have my 8th Warhammer Fantasy rulebook, and you've seen me go over it on camera even before. But to Chris's point is like this is no longer the only, like they have other products that give you kind of the most important part of this book already, either for free or in a more convenient format. So then it's kind of like, well, why package this in this big box? And then you have the other thing, you have the Fire and Jade book, which is like also very nice. This has all the rules and rosters for Spearhead. Maybe this could have been a softback, smaller book. This is not really a fluff book at all. It is purely
it's pure rules.
It's purely utilitarian.
Ironically, I would have much rather them sold this separately, because there's a lot of people that only want to play Spearhead.
Yeah.
And people still like to have all the rules in a book format. So ironically, you can buy this core book, which you don't need separately, but you can't buy this book, which you want separately. I think that kind of myths stuff.
So. And then you do get General's Handbook material in here, but again, to your point about the Fire and Jade, that could be a separate buy. It is a separate buy. So it's kind of, you know, not necessarily like something you need. If we're talking strictly like starter boxes for new players, I know some people will comment that this is not a starter box. It's like some special launch box. And that's fine, but I don't think the consumer knows or cares. Like I think that's the problem with that. Is you can tell me as a Games Workshop employee or corporate entity that no, it's not. We never said it's a starter box. It's a launch box. It doesn't matter. That's all people see is Skaven Tide, new edition, and people will assume, well, this is the new thing I'm supposed to get to enjoy the new edition, rather than you know. And then the dumb thing is like way later, like I don't know, months from now, they'll have like the 3 tiers or whatever they're going to
probably release. Not even that long. It'd probably be like 4 weeks.
Maybe 4 or 5 weeks, and it's like, you know, that. So for example, 40K has their middle tier. I don't know what it's called, Elite Edition or something. I don't know if it's changed.
It's called Starter Set.
It's just called Starter Set. I'm looking at it right now. I just couldn't remember because there's an Ultimate Starter Set. Yeah. So the one that just the starter set is like $130 or $40 and is awesome. It's like it's which is what's going to happen is they're going to take most of the Skaven, most of the Stormcast, give you some, probably give you some dice.
It's the spearheads. It'll be the spearheads.
It's the spearheads, and give you some dice.
Dice. Get dice, yeah.
And a little quick start rule set, and then everything else will be online.
Well, you don't have Monopoly at home you can raid to
yeah.
get 3 dice from
That was what that's why D6s are in Warhammer.
History lesson.
It's literally the reason.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, yeah, so it really does feel like if they wanted this box to do well or whatever, I don't know. Our point is, like, you could have reduced some of this part and make it, $100 cheaper or something, and just, like, really, slam it out the door. And
well, stay tuned. Next week we're going to actually talk about how Skaventide did, and we're going to do a little market update. So that'll be an interesting thing to follow up on.
Yeah. A little preview
After the
of what's
weekend.
going on with that. Yeah. So now, so we've kind of gone on about, like, what's in this one and what we think could be taken out or changed. I really do think, just like I think you could go back to an era of the mini rulebook. I don't know what was wrong with that. Like, I know, like I don't know. It seems like people generally loved it. It was easy to carry. It was easy to bring with you. You could, if you want to make it still special, you could make it include. It could be small format, but include all the General's Handbook stuff in it. And now people are like, "Oh, I want that. I'm going to buy it just for." It's oddly weird that people will care less about the fancy hardback thing, but they will be more excited about the little convenient
It's
kind of book
absolutely.
that only comes in this box
That's
or
right,
something.
yeah.
Like, I get wanting to have things in the box that are unique. They could have also put some more minis in there that only come in there, maybe. Like, that used to be a thing, where you have, like, a few characters or something. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've been kind of doing that, and then they released them as, like, mega expensive double spurs online.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
I don't know. What do you think, Chris? What do you want to...
I mean, like,
Change.
it's hard to argue that these sets aren't great. I think I wouldn't have a problem with these box sets at all in their current format, with their price and everything like that, if they made less of them.
Right.
But I think they're so they're produced in numbers that make me that they're almost like a starter set. So it's going to be around for a few years because of how many they make.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a launch box because it's so available. If it was just like a flash in the pan, this really cool thing that you were lucky to get, disappeared after about a month, I think I wouldn't care so much. But because they're around for so long, I think it matters more.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So this is the funny thing. This is all, you have to go back a few boxes now. This all started with the Indominus box.
During the pandemic.
Which was the anomaly, COVID launch.
Yeah.
And it went to the moon, and they thought they made enough, and they did not. And then they received like some negative backlash because people were upset they couldn't get them. They did a reprint.
Yeah, which they've never done before, yeah.
And for some reason, they decided, oh, we don't want this to happen again. And I'm kind of like on the side of, based on your point just now, I'm like, it's long enough ago, I don't think anyone cares or will care. Like, once a year or two passes, people aren't going to be like, we hate you because you didn't make enough Indominus. Like I don't know.
Hey, man, they reprinted Curse City and nobody cared.
Right.
So
yeah, I think it's like a weird straying from their own thing that they know it works really well, which is like, especially with some of these Warhammer kits, is like, because everything does get broken out and sold separately later, it doesn't really matter. But you know what I mean? It's not like Magic with serialized cards or something where you're like, no, I have to get my hands on this, otherwise I'll never get it. It's kind of like, well, no, like the contents of Indominus eventually came out on their own, and you know what I mean? Like, so I feel, so then what happened is they, the next box up was Dominion.
Right?
It was Dominion.
Yeah.
And
wait, was Indominus 9th edition or 8th edition?
it was 9th.
9th edition, okay.
And then Dominion came out, and the market did not absorb it well because I don't even think this is Games Workshop's fault. It's partially their fault.
It is partially their
fault. They made
fault.
too many. They decided to not. They thought like, well, we don't have the Indominus problem, so we're going to make a lot.
Yeah.
And then stores thought that it was going to be the second Indominus, which it wasn't because it's not 40K. It's a different game. And so just like, stores bought too many, bad taste in their mouth, all this stuff. And actually, Games Workshop could have controlled that a bit if they just kind of decided, you know what, if someone level-headed was like, I think Indominus was a pandemic thing, let's just calm down on the next one and see what happens.
Nobody ever. That guy gets thrown out the window in the corporate office,
gets,
right?
like, out the window.
He gets Captain Planet or whatever.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. And so then Leviathan came out, and they were like, well, it's 40K, so we're gonna make this. So they did this. This is the problem with planning this stuff out so many years in advance. So they decided to go mega box, really expensive, really loaded, and it did fine.
Leviathan.
Yeah, but I don't think it did as well as Indominus. It's a weird thing because the box price is higher, and the
it definitely didn't do as well.
And the profit margin is probably a little bit higher.
It was $80 more as well.
Yeah, so I think people probably, from Games Workshop's angle, it was like they're probably like, well, we can make less of them, but make similar money.
Yep.
And it did okay, but it was all the damage is done because it I think you could still find some copies. Like
it's it's been a year, and I would say it's almost sold out.
Now it's almost sold out.
You can still find them here and there, but it took a year, right? That's still not ideal.
So now you're like, so this model is just making it's a great deal that it feels like it's around long enough that it is not really going to sell through that quickly. So then it really, so now you pair this with the 3 months of like nonstop wall to wall marketing about it. And customers are just gonna lose interest because they're just like, it's not rare. Why is it's for everyone that's buying one this weekend, I think they're gonna enjoy it and love it, and they're gonna feel the value.
It's a phenomenal box,
and all that. Yeah. But for the guy who's like humming and hawing, they're just like,
there's no urgency there.
There's no urgency. So, so I mean, this is all, I guess, really technical marketing things. It's just kind of like, why it's not a good spot. I don't know.
Look at when new consoles come out, right? Like we're approaching console prices with our launch boxes now.
Sure.
So I don't think it's insane to kind of think of them in the same vein. There's always a buzz. Like there's always like I can't get a PlayStation right now. I want a PlayStation, or a Switch or whatever, right? And people always say, "Oh, that's bad because there's money sitting there and you can't use it." I'm like, yeah, but like, I don't think I've ever complained when we sold out of something. Like it's selling out's still the best thing. In
any business, selling out is great.
Yeah.
Like I know there's always that nagging, like, well, we had more, we could make more, and you're like, yeah, but if you sell out, you made, you got your money back, or you made your profit, and you can move on to the next thing, and
feels good, man.
It's good. Yeah, it's certainty.
Yeah,
you can say, look, this we can now work with this and plan forward. So in the miniature world, it is a tricky thing. It's weird. They've definitely by their own hands, like. But I mean, the COVID thing started. You can't blame them for that. But the way the post that has been fumbled for sure. And so now I don't really know what is 12th ed or 11th ed 40K and 5th ed 8. Like, what is going to happen in the future starter boxes? Are they going to keep doing this? Are they going to scale it back?
Cut this out, okay?
Yeah.
I would drop all the hardback books out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
I think
make it about the minis.
Make it about the minis, man. Give a small little rule book in there, softback or whatever, so people can play the game with what's in there. Give the rules for the models that are in the box. That's always a good idea. Like, I don't think there's even cards in the box for the minis that come in there to play with them. They're just expecting you to go online and do that or whatever. Or if they're like, okay, you can play Spirit, but you can't play match play with these unless you go buy these extra things. So that was a little weird to me.
I mean, you could also put some. I don't think they do, but they should have some like. Free, 6 months of app or something, codes in the boxes, like whatever
now
you
we're
want.
thinking.
You can think
I think that's called synergy.
Synergy. Synergize.
That's great. I think that's cool. Like stuff like that, I think is ingenious. And I think knocking these books out alone, you could probably take the box down about $100. Mm-hmm. And now people are really focused on just the models. And I think if there's there's another starter box replacing it with less things, and do you want your rattling gun, like the big machine gun Skaven thing? Do you want your special Stormcast characters and unit that you're not going to get in the regular box later on? It makes it more premium that way, and then the price is so much more approachable, I think, for the mass consumer, I think, to take a gamble on it, right? I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just,
I'd rather sell like 30 or 40 of something
yes.
and make the same amount of money as selling 20 of something, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because 40 people got to enjoy something,
right.
and I made the same bucks, versus 20 people got to enjoy something and 20 people didn't even partake in it.
You get a larger population of customers that you can then engage with about that thing that they got.
It's much healthier for a business in general.
It is. You kind of ensure that you cast. This is the great irony. They tried to make a box that cast the widest net, but I think it's going to pull in the smallest number of fish because it's just too much.
It's a very luxury net.
It's a very luxury net. Yeah. So,
what do you guys think? How would you make changes to Games Workshop's new launch box format? What would you cut out? What would you like to see in it? Maybe.
What would you add?
What would you add? Whoa! Let's keep the prices down, boys. Adding? We're cutting right now. We're not adding.
I mean,
I like your idea. It adds something, but it doesn't need to necessarily cost more money. Like the idea of getting like a free app code or something like that for a while. That's cool. That's innovative.
Whatever.
I think. Yeah. So throw us in the comments below. Give us a like and a subscribe if you like these kind of videos. We try to put out a couple a week. And if you really like these videos, you want to support the channel, you can go to patreon.com and find us on there, Lords of War Games and Hobbies. Until next time, take care.
Thanks. Bye.